The major averages coming off a volatile week in part on concerns over AI valuations. Joining us right now is Doug Clinton. He's Intelligent Alpha founder and CEO. Good morning to you. We keep talking about the idea of a bubble. Maybe when you say there's a bubble, there isn't a bubble. But where do you land? We're also seeing some of this now even go over and infect the markets in China, which had been sort of pretty resilient, or people weren't talking of AI bubble over there. But now it seems to be everywhere.
Good morning, Andrew. I mean, here's the temperature check, I think, in terms of where we're at with AI right now. If you look at the NASDAQ, we're down about 7% from all-time highs just about a month ago. But outside of that, if you look at some of the core AI trades, the companies like CoreWeave, Nebius, Tempest AI, a lot of these names are down 30, 40, 50%. So we've had a pretty healthy altitude adjustment, I think, over the past month. The way that I think about it is usually there's this sort of 10% hurdle. I think just psychologically, when people see a 10% correction in markets, we're 3% away from that on the NASDAQ, that represents a pretty good reset historically when you think about the dot-com era as a comp. And so I think that's probably where we're headed. I think we might get another couple weeks or so of volatility. But beyond that, I don't see this as a deep-seek moment. I don't think there's a fundamental question about the AI trade. I think it's more psychological concerns about valuation.
So it's interesting. You mentioned CoreWeave, and that is a stock that's fallen. Have you rethought or shifted your view at all in terms of the depreciation schedule for semiconductors, the chips that are being used in these big data centers? And I think that is fundamentally almost the whole game in terms of the math. Either you think that these chips can be used for 6, 7, 8 years, in which case the math makes sense, or you think these chips have to get upgraded, or there's going to be such an upgrade cycle that, you know, they're not going to be used the same way 3 or 4 years out, in which case the math gets a lot more complicated.
And I think, as is so often true in bubbles, it's really a religious argument to some extent. It's hard to prove concretely one side or the other is absolutely right, in my opinion. I think that there's a little bit of truth to both. At the same time, we have NVIDIA upgrading their chips at such a high rate every 18 months or so, and really creating chips that you almost can't avoid upgrading to if you are a hyperscaler because of the efficiencies that those new chips bring. And at the same time, the older chips, the chips that are now 18 months old, they still are very functional for different workloads. They're still functional for inference. They're still functional for other workloads that we've seen these hyperscalers kind of shift work to, even back to A100s, NVIDIA's chips that are 5+ years old now. And so I think that in a weird way, both things are true. And because of that, when I think about the cycle, where are we at right now? I think that leads me to believe that we still do have more time here to go, because we haven't gone, down the path where we're starting to depreciate these things at, I think, an unrealistic clip where we're still not monetizing them in reality.
Right. Doug, I wanted to ask you just about how you think about some of the hyperscalers themselves. I want to read you, if I could, a tweet. This is Mark Benioff last night, takes to Twitter. We're on a cable show, so I could use the word, but I won't. He says, "Holy S, you know what? Holy, you know what? I've used ChatGPT every day for 3 years. Just spent 2 hours on Gemini 3. Of course, Gemini 3 produced by Google, owner Alphabet. I'm not going back," he says. "The leap is insane. Reasoning, speed, images, video, everything is sharper and faster. It feels like the world just changed again." Did Google just outpace ChatGPT and Anthropic and Microsoft and Amazon and everybody else?
I think they did. Yes, they did, Andrew. And here's what I think is so exciting about Google. I think it's a stock that's really hard to bet against right now, despite the move they've had over the last 6 months. The turning point for them really was about 6 months ago when they came out with Gemini 2.5. I think they showed the world, and they showed the AI world, that they still had a lot that they could offer in terms of creating the best performing model in the world. And now with Gemini 3, I think they do have the pole position, having used the model. And so I think that, OpenAI is going to come back. They will rebut this at some point. They will launch the next version of GPT. But right now, Google, I think, is probably the stock to own in the AI trade from a Mag 6 perspective.
So real quick, because we're going to have to go, Explain this. If everybody is going to be continuing to leapfrog each other, from a market share perspective, how do you actually either catch up or take over from somebody else? Meaning, if you're saying in this moment, Google is the winner, does that mean that I'm going to shift all of my work over to Gemini, and then in 3 or 4 or 5 months from now, or maybe shorter, OpenAI will come out with the next version of its operating system, ChatGPT 6, I imagine, and then I switch back? There's been a lot of conversation about the lock-in effect of memory, persistent memory. Will that matter or not?
I think it does matter. I think you're getting into what will probably be one of the big themes of 2026, which is distribution. The kind of current paradigm has really been, can we go and get consumers to use point solution? Can we go to chatgpt.com or Gemini within Google and have people use these tools? I think next year will be more about distribution and how can we get these models into tools we're already using. And you got to go back to Google, where they have Chrome, they have the Android mobile operating system. They do have some interesting distribution points where they can bake this model in. And I think that will be the new battleground. Instead of getting people to just go direct to websites, it's all about distribution next year.